CKGE-FM. Killer Classics 94.9. The New Rock Healey 94.9. The Rock.
His name is Don Coleman. Don is a Toronto native, resides in New Brunswick right now, and Don started a campaign in New Brunswick to get Jeff Healey's name on Canada's Walk of Fame, which is totally awesome. Rita, Don, Rita.
Hi,
Craig,
guys.
Rita, Craig, Don. How you doing, Don?
Good morning. Pleasure to be here today.
You're a musician. You've been a musician all your life, and you know, a musician myself. You know, it's so inspiring to be inspired by a guy like Jeff Healey, eh?
Absolutely.
And how did you get this campaign rolling in New Brunswick, man?
Well, actually, I found that there was a campaign based out of Toronto from Sarah French, who's part of Jeff Healey, works for Jeff Healey's estate. I picked up on that on a social networking site, and I thought I'd expand the campaign into the Maritimes, and so I sent a press release out to hundreds of media outlets from radio, print, television, all across the Maritimes, and CTV News responded, and newspapers responded, some radio stations responded, and created quite a buzz, got a lot of votes for Jeff. And I hooked up with a friend of mine, Jamie Patchett, from TorontoNews.com, News24.com, and he thought it would be a great idea. We discussed it to take this even further. So, through mutual friends of ours, some other, you know, well-heeled musicians, you know, we're putting together a video to get out there to encourage more and more people leading up to the deadline of April 30th to nominate Jeff.
What a musician, eh? He was. You obviously saw him live and you know, hung out with him a little bit, Don, or?
And I was a simply phenomenal musician. I never actually met him personally. But the first time I saw him was in a small tavern on Spadina Avenue in Toronto, and I walked in there, didn't even know that he was there, and it was prior to him becoming, you know, famous. And that moment changed my life forever. It was just a magical moment. And
you and me both, brother. I was in high school, in a high school band playing drums, and his high school band and the band that I was in were going up against each other for the high school jazz band thing. This is way back when, 25 years ago. And here's Healey, this guy I never knew, just like you before he was famous, playing a guitar in his lap. I was just freaked out. I couldn't believe that, man.
It was phenomenal.
Amazing.
The other thing about Jeff, too, is besides his, you know, phenomenal musical talents and musical knowledge, you know, there's more to Canada's Walk of Fame than just simply success, but Jeff was also very humble. Jeff liked to help others. You know, I have a personal story of an 18-year-old girl in just outside of Moncton, New Brunswick, who's a multi-instrumentalist. She's blind, and she connected with Jeff Healey, and Jeff communicated with her on a regular basis and helped her in her life. She asked him questions: how do I do this? How do I do that? How can I, you know, some personal things. But then Jeff responded, and he helped her, taught her things, and also invited her and her family to one of his shows and spent time with her and her family after the show, and took an interest in people. And he was a really humble man, and he was revered by some of the very best blues musicians all around the world.
Absolutely. We're talking to Don Coleman. Don is starting this campaign to get Jeff Healey nominated on the Canada Walk of Fame.
And if the fans want to get behind it, how can fans get behind to get him onto the Walk of Fame?
It's really quite simple, and it doesn't take very long at all. You go to canadaswalkoffame.com and click on nominations, and you'll have a very brief one-page application form where you nominate Jeff Healey, and they ask you some reasons why you feel that you would like to nominate Jeff Healey. And as we know, Jeff sold millions of records around the world and graced the stage with the very best of the best. And everyone I've spoken to has worked with Jeff and or knew him only have very, very good things to say about him.
Awesome that the campaign that you kind of got going in New Brunswick, the buzz there has, you know, kind of reached Toronto today. Yeah, that's totally awesome, man. It's fantastic. Canada's Walk of Fame, that's the website, Don?
canadaswalkoffame.com.
That's it. This is just kind of the start to launch it. But April 30th is the deadline to get this nomination
April
in.
30th is the deadline, so now's the time to take action. It only takes a couple of minutes. And I certainly believe that Jeff Healey is the epitome of a great Canadian and deserves to be on Canada's Walk of Fame.
Goes beyond the music, eh?
Absolutely.
Don Coleman, our guest. Get to that website, canadaswalkoffame.com. Nominate Jeff Healey. We're behind it, as is Don Coleman. Thanks a lot for flying in from the East Coast and braving the Toronto. A little bit different traffic in Toronto than it is to New Brunswick, eh?
Just a little bit.
It's a few more cars, eh?
But the Rock Traffic Report kept us completely informed.
Rock and roll. Thanks, Rita.
We'll get you here safely.
Thanks a lot, Don.
Cheers.
CKGE-FM. Killer Classics 94.9. The New Rock 94.9. The Rock.